Hey everybody, how is it going today? In this video, I wanted to talk about one of my current positions called CleanSpark, ticker symbol CLSK. In this recent news article, it was suggesting they may have found a faster path to profitability than was previously expected. So in this video, I'm going to go over that article and then I'm going to get into their chart. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in every video, I'll show you some of the potential trades and investments that I see setting up. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And I also have a Patreon group, so if you would like to be a part of our community and see what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is in the description. Now, if this is your first time hearing about CleanSpark, they provide energy software and control technology solutions worldwide. They offer distributed energy systems that allow customers to design, engineer, communicate, and manage renewable energy generation, storage, and consumption with microgrids which comprise generation, energy storage, and smart distribution assets that serve a single or multiple loads connected to the utility grid and separate from the utility grid for commercial, industrial, defense, campus, and residential users. And of course, they are also into Bitcoin mining as well. Now, according to this article, they say the most pressing concern for investors is CleanSpark's path to profitability. When will they break even? And according to the two American software analysts, they anticipate the company to incur a final loss in 2020 before generating positive profits of $23 million in 2021. So they are calculating an average annual growth rate of 178%, which signals high confidence from these analysts. Now, one thing they did like to point out was that CleanSpark has no debt on its balance sheet, which is quite unusual for a cash-burning growth company, which typically has high debt relative to its equity. The company currently operates purely off its shareholder funding and has no debt obligations, reducing concerns around repayments and making it a less risky investment. Now, there were several companies that got very lucky with their stock prices increasing at a time when investor appetites for growth companies were at all-time highs and took advantage and issued more shares to raise capital. Of course, this is much better for the company than borrowing money. But at this point in time, a lot of these growth companies' stocks have been getting absolutely crushed because they went way too far too fast. But they've been pulling back lately and in my opinion now represent a much better value. And when you consider their strong cash positions to grow their businesses into the future, that's one of the reasons I've been buying pullbacks on some of these stocks, including CleanSpark. All right, guys. Well, I went to check out that resource that put out that article on CleanSpark, and the name of the website is called Simply Wall Street. I had never heard of this website before, but I jumped on the website and was messing around with it for quite a while, and I got to tell you, I kind of like it so far, and I definitely think it's worth checking out, so I wanted to show it to you guys. They got some pretty cool tools, so I think you guys should definitely check it out and add it to your arsenal of resources that you use to analyze your investments. And of course, these guys aren't paying me at all. I just stumbled upon this website. I just wanted to show it to you. But this is the CleanSpark page, and here are the two analysts that they were referencing in that article. The first one is Gregory Lewis from BTIG, and the second one is Amit Dayal, I think I'm saying that right, from H.C. Wainwright. And if we go over to tip ranks and check them out, we can see that Gregory Lewis is only ranked a half star out of 5, and he's ranked 6,706th out of 7,524 analysts. So he's ranked near the bottom, but Amit is ranked near the top. He is ranked number 15 out of 7,524 analysts with an average annual return of 59.6%. So kind of a mixed bag as far as the analysts go. You have one that seems like he's doing fantastic and the other one not so hot. So take that for what it's worth. But if we look at the CleanSpark page on tip ranks, we can see that those two analysts have price targets of 50 and 45, and it's ranked as a moderate buy. So that's pretty good as far as tip ranks goes. But let's go back to that article real quick on that website called Simply Wall Street. I'll scroll down and show you it real quick, but they have a bunch of different metrics that they use to analyze companies. They use the valuation, the future growth, the past performance, the financial health, and they have their own metrics. So you probably want to go there and check it out and see if they, mesh with the metrics that you use to analyze your companies. But we can see that CleanSpark has a lot of volatility. Of course, we already knew that if you've been following CleanSpark at all. As far as their valuation goes, they have 3 checks out of 6, and if we look at that first check mark as far as valuation, it says it's trading below our estimate of fair value of $79.92. So if you look at their fair value estimate for CleanSpark, it says they estimate their fair value at $79.93. Right now, the current price is $15.18. And I was messing around on this website for a long time, putting in, of course, all of my stocks that I own, and then a bunch of other ones that I could think of. And pretty much every single company was right around what I thought. If I thought they were just slightly overvalued, that's pretty much what they were showing on this website. I think that CleanSpark is undervalued. Yeah, that's why I've been accumulating it. I didn't realize that, at least, I don't think that it's as far undervalued as it's showing on this website, but I'll definitely take that as a bonus. This makes me feel better if you're an investor. But I just wanted to point this part out specifically because I guess they have a little bit, they're a little bit more bullish on CleanSpark than I am, but there's a ton of really great metrics on this website. So I highly recommend you guys just checking out Simply Wall Street and seeing if it's a resource that you want to use for analyzing your investments, because I personally thought it was pretty cool. Some things are a little bit different than what I look for, but all in all, I think it was a fantastic website, and I'll definitely be adding this one to my research tool as far as websites that I'm going to use to analyze the stocks that I want to invest in. All right, guys, so now let's get over to my TC2000 charting software and take a look at the current price action on CleanSpark. But as always, just a couple things. Number one is, guys, I am not a financial advisor. Please do all of your own research for investing in any stocks you see in my videos. This is all my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. And number two, if you could help me out with the YouTube algorithm and like the smash button for me, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. But with that being said, let's get into this chart. We can see that CleanSpark has been mired in this downtrend that's created this descending wedge formation. And usually these things result in a breakout to the upside before too long. Once this area gets too compressed, and you can see that these peaks and troughs just keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And it's also at the bottom of the trend line. And it's also within this support area that I had drawn back all the way from last August. Now, if you like to buy stocks at long-term support, look for these kind of areas that happened, 6, 8, 9 months ago, and, draw them out further, bring the support area out further, whether you're using a line or using a box like I use, because these are great areas to start positions or look for bounce trades. I mean, if you could have been looking for a swing trade on CleanSpark and bought it near the bottom of this consolidation box, right around $13.50 or so, and you could have sold it, right around $15, $16 just a couple of days later. So these are great areas to play swing trades. Now, I am not interested in playing a swing trade on CleanSpark. I'm looking to hold this one for a year or two at least, because I do think that it is undervalued, and I'm anticipating that we are pretty close to a bottom. It hasn't broken through the support area yet, but this stock was in a pretty substantial downtrend, and this support area stopped it right in its track. We haven't had a huge bounce yet, but I am hopeful that we are going to get a bigger bounce than this, and eventually a breakout through this descending wedge formation, and hopefully the start of a new uptrend. Because this stock has pulled back roughly, let's call it, about 70%. So this is a pretty deep pullback. This thing is definitely worth another swing high if you're looking for just an intermediate trend. But I do think CleanSpark is going to be higher in the next year or two, so I'm happy to be accumulating it at these levels. I wanted no part of it when it was in the 30s and 40s. I thought that was way, way too high of a price to be paying way back then, so I've been patiently waiting for this thing, and I started accumulating some at the 200-period simple moving average in mid-April, and I've been accumulating some more at this area as well. So, as far as the stock goes in the near term, we are definitely finding some resistance at this 8-period exponential moving average, but it looks like it could be ready to break through it. I mean, it's just kind of been hanging around it. Hasn't really turned over, but it hasn't really broken through it yet. But I do think that the next move for CleanSpark is going to be through this moving average, and then is going to be testing this upper trend line before too long, probably right around, call it around $18 a share before too long. So that's some pretty decent upside in the short term. That's what I am predicting for CleanSpark. That's what I am expecting with this pattern. That's how a lot of these patterns usually get resolved. And right now it's sitting on that lower trend line plus that support area. The only thing that is worrying me a little bit is hasn't had that much of a move up. You can see when it gets down towards that trend line in the past, we've had pretty decent bounces up, and we're not getting that right now. But I do think that a lot of these growth stocks are still under pressure, but the tide is starting to turn for some of them. And I think a lot of people are starting to see the value in some of these high growth stocks like CleanSpark are showing right now after these huge pullbacks. So I am confident that CleanSpark is probably going to be testing that upper trend line before too long. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.